Seminole Nation and the Robert Hook Show is brought to you by premier sponsor, First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, Bugmobile of Arkansas, H&R Block of Mississippi County, Ed Harshman and Harshman Reynolds, and Roller Swift Funeral Home. Council Member Tyler Dunnigan. Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Grant Barnett. And now, the Robert Hook Show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Robert Hook Show. I am being joined by head football coach Robert Hooks, my co-partner, partner in crime, Bobby Eflin, and behind the scenes, Jade Gonzalez, pushing all the buttons for us and making sure all this stuff works, because without him, this does not happen. We are sponsored in part by our corporate sponsor, First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, and we appreciate them so much for allowing us to bring this to you each and every week. You'll hear about our other sponsors during the break. And, Coach, last week, both teams come in, Osceola 5-1 in conference, Harrisburg 5-1 in conference, showdown, trying to see who's going to be remaining first place in the conference. Seminole Stadium was rocking, good crowd out there. Seminoles come away with a huge victory, 49-7. Coach, looking at the first quarter, started off kind of weird. I mean, to tell you the truth, you're used to offenses being on the field and taking the ball down the field and put it in the end zone. Both teams get on the board right away with fumble recoveries for a touchdown, or maybe call one a takeaway, but at the end of the day, it's a fumble recovery. So with 8:34 left in the first quarter, Jacob O'Kane picks up a fumble, goes 45 yards for a fumble return for a touchdown. Extra points, good. He kicks his own extra points, good. Seminoles lead 7-0. Coach, we give the ball right back to them. They come. We get a stop on defense. They kick the ball back to us. MJ Vance has got the ball, gets in a big pile. They somehow get the ball away from him, and number 28, Ross Heeb, has a 44-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Extra points, good. At that point, we got a 7-7 tie, both of them by the defense. But 4:21 left in the first quarter. Seminoles are right back on the board. 30-yard touchdown pass from MJ Vance to Greg Hooks Jr. Extra point is no good. Seminoles lead 13-7. So, Coach, after one quarter, 13-7 you scored, 2 defensive touchdowns and an offensive touchdown. That's just a weird way to start a football game.
It is. I thought that we were ready for this game. The kids were locked in all week, and you get that first touchdown, and what a way to start the game for Jacob O'Kane. With what he's been dealing with.
Exactly.
Just very proud for him and the way that he's come to work every day and still just like that has happened. Very, very proud of him. And, we get that score. And so you think, oh, okay, we're ready to roll. And especially after we get the second stop, offense is on the field. And, we just don't cover the football up in traffic. And, bad things happen when you do that. And the worst that could happen for us on that next possession. But glad that we were able to overcome it.
Bobby, we talked about this in the booth. MJ gets the ball taken away from him. Mm-hmm. The defender there for Ross Heeb goes 44 yards for a touchdown. But when Osceola came back on the field, you saw something from MJ Vance that I don't know if I've actually seen it. Now, I've seen him mad. I've seen him play with a little urgency. But I saw a passion, and it made me think there is no way that will happen again.
MJ came back on the field with a purpose. He was, you could tell he was upset with himself. He felt like he had made a mistake or that he had failed in some way, and he was going to come back and do something to help his football team. And I think that's that senior leadership, but that's also a kid that cares about what's going. It wasn't a laugh it off situation. It wasn't a situation where it's not that big a deal. MJ says, look, we got to take control of the football game. We've got to come out and prove a point. And we got to apologize to Jacob because through the whole game we talked about Chris Littleton having that fumble recovery. And when you're down on the field, we even had selected as player of the game Chris, and you get down there, and was it Coach Landry? I
Yeah.
think told you, what about Jacob? And so we want to apologize to Jacob because we miscalled it the whole ball game. But it was a scoop and score, just like you'd love to see. And an old lineman at heart, you love it when a lineman picks one up and there's nobody around him, because that doesn't happen often. And to see one of those big guys get to do that, especially in Jacob's circumstances right now, I don't think it could happen for a better kid, and I'm glad it happened for him.
And you're exactly right, Bobby. Even the PA announcer, we all had. I don't know. I was watching on the monitor trying to make sure the number. I thought it was 56. It was 59. We called it the whole game that way, and that is we want to apologize to Jacob on that. Had I not got down there and Coach Landry said something to me, I was going after Chris Littleton as player of the game. But Jacob O'Kane was the one that ran that fumble return in for a touchdown. And just before we get back into the scoring here, I talked to that young man after the game as player of the game. He gets on the camera and tells me about losing both grandparents within weeks apart. And I asked him, I said, Jacob, just tell me how it felt, son, to be able to run that touchdown in. And he said, after losing both grandparents, I know God was with me. And I thought, man, I've talked to Coach about it, about his character and his football team, how they won't let nothing go without talking about each other. But then hearing a kid talking about, he's been through so much, and to come out there tonight and have the success he did, and not only that, Bobby picks a fumble up. He's running down the field, and he's got 2 linemen running with him.
Yep.
And they're going to make sure he gets in that end zone.
Yep.
I thought he was going to fall. At one time he was tripping over his feet. But I said it, folks, as soon as he picked that ball up, I said it. I love it when linemen score. I mean, because it's just, they don't get talked about.
No.
I mean, you're standing up there blocking, and you're the one that's hurting after the game because you have fought them big men on that line of scrimmage all night long. But they don't talk about that. But to see a man pick a fumble up running in the end zone like that, folks, that's what it's all about for a lineman, because that's going to be something he'll be able to talk about the rest of the year and the rest of his life. He'll always be able to go back to the film and tell his kids, and all his family, look what I did.
Look at that.
I got the score. So, Coach, we're out of the first quarter, 13-7, folks, and then I'm gonna tell you, it's all Seminoles from there. 11:48 in the second quarter, 63-yard touchdown pass from MJ Vance to Greg Hooks Jr. Greg Hooks had a heck of a ball game for the Seminoles. The extra point was good. Seminoles led 20-7. 4:53 left in the second quarter. MJ Vance has a 3-yard touchdown run. Jacob O'Kane's extra point was good, 27-7. And Bobby, I know folks are tired of it. I know y'all are tired of it. But I talk about it every week. We get the 2 for 1. I believe in it. We deferred the second half. Right there before the half, 2.2 seconds left, 33-yard touchdown pass from MJ Vance and Stephon Coleman. Extra point was good. We go to halftime, 34-7, with the opportunity to get the ball in the second half and do it again. I mean, I believe in it. I'd live and die about it if it was me. I know I'm not a coach, and coaches do things different ways, but there ain't no way in the world. I love the defer. I love it. 34-7, Coach, at the half. You're in the driver's seat. Everything's clicking. Your passing game's going. Your running game's going. You got to be happy going into the half.
Well, felt good going into the half. Just didn't want the kids to get relaxed and think that the ball game was over. Wanted to make sure that we come out and finish and get the mercy rule, get the 35-point margin so that we could get the clock to running and get the other subs in to get them game-like reps. And, we come out and it didn't work that way. The first possession made a crucial mistake at a crucial point, but the defense comes back on the field and gets the big stop. That was real huge from our defense. And then after that, we come back and drive and get the clock to roll.
Bob, you saw a bunch of Seminoles score in the first half. Again, we talk about that every week. You can't key on just one kid because you saw, you had MJ score, you had Greg score, you've thrown the ball to Trey 2 or 3 times with chances to score. You get Stephon in the end zone. We're gonna see here in a few minutes when we finish scoring, you're gonna get Don Taven and Rod involved here in the second half. So you're starting to see not just 1 or 2 they're making the difference. You're seeing a bunch of Seminoles make the difference.
Well, what you're seeing is you're starting to see the offense gel. You're starting to see the youth is out there. You got a lot of youth that's playing on your line. You're bringing Don Taven in. You've got you're starting to see those guys get comfortable But I've got to tell you, you got two specific units on the offensive side of the ball that I think really have stepped it up, and that's your wide receivers and your offensive line. MJ had time to throw the football. He had good running lanes. When Rod was running the football, we saw good running lanes from him. But I'm telling you about our wide receiver core, and you've said this in the past. You put them up against anybody in the state.
Yes, sir.
It's a pick your poison. And I don't know if any opposing coaches watch this show. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you right now, you got two choices with Osceola. You can play press coverage with a zone over the top and try to limit the wide receiver screens, the tunnels and the bubbles, or you can step back and get eaten alive by those 6, 7, 8 yard gains.
That's right.
And you've heard me in the booth all year saying it's wide open. They're 10 yards off the football. They're 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. And we saw that. We saw that more than – and we all know Coach Hooks has an affinity for running the same play over and over again. But we saw that Friday night when Harrisburg backed off the football. They've got those corners, step back 10, 12 yards off the ball. They're playing the slot 8, 9 yards off the ball.
That's right.
You give our guys an opportunity to catch the football in space, you've got problems. You've got problems. And then if you decide to play press and your zone is not tight over the top, they're going to beat you deep.
I tell you,
It is until somebody that you come across somebody that can run with them, you got issues. And rarely do you find a team that has 4 guys that can make plays.
Right.
And those Dan, Stephon, Greg, and Trey, those 4 guys, every one of them has the speed to take it to the house. Every one of them catch football. Every one of them makes plays. Yep. It's rare you find 4 defensive backs that can run with 4 wide receivers.
I agree.
So
I agree, and everything you're saying is right, Bobby. I mean, it's tough to prepare for a Seminole offense, and right now it's clicking on all cylinders. We get into the third quarter, Bobby, leading 34-7 at the half. We have a 7-yard touchdown run by number 41, Rod Hale. 2-point conversion. Dan Newsom ran it in for the 2-point conversion. Brought us 42-7. Went for 2 there to get the 35-point cushion. That way the mercy clock runs, and it starts to run right there at 8:12 in the third quarter. And, folks, game just was shortened from there because when that mercy rule is in effect, the clock just runs and runs and runs. We get to the fourth quarter, only other score of the ball game, 6:56 left in the game. Don Taven Littleton comes in at quarterback, has a 23-yard touchdown run. Jacob O'Kane's extra point is good. And, folks, we're going to finish the ball game 49-7. Coach, let's talk about a little bit of your individual stats here. We'll talk about game stats first. Osceola, Bobby, was 10 for 15, 241 yards passing, 20 carries on the ground for 180 yards. That's 421 yards of total offense. And, Coach, 5-1 team coming in, trying to get to the top of the conference, but 421 yards on the team. It was undefeated before last week. That's making a statement there at home. Looking at some of the individuals, MJ Vance, 10 for 15, 241, 3 touchdowns. Receiving core, Greg Hooks Jr. had a heck of a game. That's all I can say. He only had 4 catches, but it was 4 catches for 129 yards and 3 touchdowns. Can't say enough about Greg. We talked about Trey last week, talk about Greg. I know we've already talked about this. It's just unbelievable, the playmakers that you got in different positions. Trey Moore, he had 3 receptions for 72 yards. Stephon Coleman had only that 1 catch, but he took it 33 yards to the house for a touchdown. Dan Newsom had 2 catches for 7 yards. On the rushing side of the ball, Rod Hale, 6 rushes for 77 yards and a touchdown. Brandon Johnson had 4 rushes for 49 yards. Your quarterback, MJ, he had 24 yards on 4 carries and a touchdown. Then you had Don Taven Littleton on that 1 rush for 23 yards and a touchdown. Ran a total of 35 plays, Coach, around the 35-play area. Had 17 first downs. If you had a negative in this ball game, the only thing I can tell you is you had a couple turnovers there, and you had 6 penalties for 50 yards. But, I mean, that's very, very manageable in my opinion. Just a little bit about Harrisburg. I just wrote this down just to show you what your defense did. We've been talking about offense a lot. We haven't really talked about defense.
Right.
But passing, they were 4 for 11 for 39 yards. That tells you right there they don't like to throw like that anyway. 37 carries for 97 yards, 136 yards total. So your defense played a heck of a ball game.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Just again, I thought that we played some guys that didn't normally play on defense this week. Kenyon Troop come in and gave us a spark. Chris Williams, we've been kind of resting him a little bit on defense, but he come out and those guys really disrupted the inside. and allowed our guys to make plays on the outside. Carlos Woods was another guy that played good, but A.J. Harris is a guy that he still got to work on some things as for technical, but motor, he has it. Motor, Carlos Woods has it. Motor, Kamarion Brooks has it. They got the things that you have to have in order to be a good defensive player. So, and we're fine tuning the fundamentals, and I'm just excited about where we could be going into the last half of the conference play.
Yes, sir. Seminoles win 49-7 over the Harrisburg Hornets. We're going to take a timeout now, let our sponsors get a word in, and we'll be right back with the Robert Hook Show.
First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas is the official bank of the Seminole Nation and the Robert Hook Show. Our premier sponsor, First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, is Eastern Arkansas's largest independently owned bank. First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas specializes in all your banking needs, including personal banking, online banking, business banking, savings accounts, loans, CDs, and IRAs. Go down to the First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, speak with President Greg Reese and teller supervisor and loan processor Taylor Lucius for all your banking needs. First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas is a proud sponsor of the Osceola Seminole Nation and the Robert Hook Show. First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, member FDIC. Bugmobile of Arkansas, located at 408 South Walnut in Osceola, specializes in pest control and termite control for both residential and commercial properties. Owners Oscar and Jade Gonzalez would be happy to come out and give you a free estimate, and you can also contact Bugmobile at 870-563-6811. Bugmobile is a proud sponsor of your Osceola Seminoles and the Seminole Nation. H&R Block of Mississippi County is a tax preparation and financial service located at 2981 West Kaiser in Osceola. They can be reached at 870-563-5710. H&R Block of Mississippi County is a proud sponsor of the Seminole Nation. Ed Harshman and Harshman Rentals, located at 202 West Johnson in Osceola, can meet all of your residential and storage rental needs. Harshman's has apartments and housing located throughout Osceola and Mississippi County, both furnished and unfurnished, available for rent. You can contact Harshman Rentals at 870-563-3694. Ed Harshman and Harshman Rentals are a proud sponsor of Osceola Seminole Athletics and the Seminole Nation. Roller Swift Funeral Home of Osceola is a proud sponsor of the Seminole Nation and Osceola Seminole Athletics. Located at 2173 US 61 South, Roller Swift Funeral Home specializes in funeral services and helping families with the costs associated with them. For more information, contact them at 870-563-6578 and speak with David Tucker. Roller Swift Funeral Home, with all our respect.
Councilmember Tyler Dunnigan is a proud sponsor of the Seminole Nation and the Robert Hook Show. Tyler is working for a better Osceola with real commitment and real results. Councilmember Tyler Dunnigan for a better Osceola. Farm Bureau Insurance of Osceola and Agent Grant Barnett proudly sponsor the Seminole Nation and the Robert Hook Show. Contact Grant for all of your auto, home, and life insurance needs. You can see Grant at 3125 West Kaiser in Osceola and contact him at 870-563-6561. Farm Bureau Insurance and Agent Grant Barnett are proud sponsors of the Seminole Nation.
And welcome back to the Robert Hook Show. Coach, this week the Seminoles travel to Clay County and take on the Piggott Mohawks. And, we talked about it before. Piggott, they play good at home. They always rise to the occasion inside their stadium. Coach Michael Harrell is a good football coach over at Piggott, and I'm sure they'll be ready for the Seminoles this Friday night. And just tell us a little bit about the Piggott Mohawks.
Well, the first thing that jumps out at you when you look at film is how big and physical they are. But not only that, they have good feet. They're big, fast, strong guys. So, we're going to be up for a challenge with their size. They have number 60 plays tackle for them. He's 5'11", 260. They have number 55, Alex Starp, who's 6'1", 315. Number 55, who plays left guard for him. He's 6'1", 315. And they also have number 75, Kyson Conley, who's 6'3", 315. So wow. Right there you got three guys that's over 300 pounds and have good feet. They block well and they play hard. I mean, they play. That one thing about them, even when they've been down, they're gonna play hard to the last play. So we're up for a challenge with that. And in the backfield, they have quarterback Tanner Dixon, 6'1", 180, is a good athlete. Does a good job of leading the offense. They play 2 or 3 different running backs. Number 25, I've seen number 32 back there, and also at fullback number 33, Kyler Smith, 5'9", 185. 25 has pretty good vision, and he can run. So you're not playing a bad ball club right now. They just have caught bad breaks and hadn't been able to overcome those bad breaks. If they get a break here or there, then we're in for a ball game. So I can promise you we're not overlooking them just because they're 1-6. Again, like you say, Coach Harold is a good football coach, and they're doing a good job over there. And we just want to come out and make sure we stay focused and come ready to play.
Bobby, traditionally we see Piggott like to get up in that double wing, close to the line of scrimmage, and just pound you. They have in the past been very, very successful doing that. But and this year, seeing film on them from the beginning of the year, they're doing a little bit of everything. They're coming out in the spread, they're throwing the ball a little bit more, running out of the spread. So never know what we're going to see this Friday night.
And Coach Harrell's changed a little bit. He's changed the offense some. He's trying to give you multiple offensive formations, multiple looks, trying to confuse defenses. We've talked about this throughout the year. You give a team like Piggott, who has some pieces, and they do. They have some good football players. You start giving these kids hope, and they start believing, and then you find yourself in a tight ball game, a ball game you should, on paper, be walking away with. So I think the key here this week is to go in there and go ahead and just punch them in the mouth, and get out there and take control of the football game. And that's going to take some focus and some leadership from some senior Seminoles. And the guys to go out and just play clean. And I'm going to tell you, the past couple of weeks, we've really seen the penalties cleaned up. We've seen the behavior cleaned up, some of the problems we saw earlier in the year. It's testament to the work ethic of the team and of course Coach Hooks and how he pushes his football team to be disciplined. You're going into a hostile environment. They bring fans. They set them around the track.
No doubt.
They get out there and they're loud.
Yes.
And so the Seminoles have got to go in there with a focus and an eye on what the prize is. You continue to move forward in conference and how important this ball game is, and you're marching toward a goal, and you can't overlook any of the steps in that goal. So again, on paper, we should probably run away and hide from Piggott. But if you ever give a team like that who's scrapping anyway, that opening, that opportunity to believe in themselves, you find yourself in a ball game.
And I agree with that. If they can, they're going to try to find a way to get ahead. If they can get ahead, then they're going to show you they can run some clock. I'm going to tell you, Piggott has been traditionally known to run the clock. I mean, especially with that pounding offense. If they could get up on you, they'll show you that 40-second clock and make the game go away.
Yep.
And they're very well coached. We look forward to coming to Piggott this Friday night and having a good ball game there in Clay County in Piggott, Arkansas. That is the scouting report on the Piggott Mohawks. And folks, I'm going to tell you, it's we need everybody to come over. That's the main thing. And if you can come to Piggott this Friday night, we ask you to do that. We're going to do the best we can. I can't promise you nothing. We're going to be out in the middle of nowhere using a MiFi signal, so we'll have to see how that's going to work. We've got a chance of rain. We're going to see how that works. We have talked to Piggott. They have a small press box, and we're not going to be able to get in it, so we're going to have to find a way to either get under a tent or
we're going to rough it.
We're going to rough it. Yeah, it's going to be a different ball game for us. But we're going to have to try to do that.
What Coach Harold tell you said we're not a small college like
Osceola. He did. I called him and talked to him about us getting in the press box, and he just quietly let us know that Piggott's not a small college like Osceola. So, but not he only talked about us, he talked about Newport bringing their small college over there too. So, so he was just being, he's just being funny. But we look forward to coming to Piggott this Friday night. We'll do the best we can to bring you the action live. No matter what, we'll have the sub-area radio broadcast. You can get it on the radio either way, but we're going to do the best we can to give you a live feed this Friday night. Bobby, let's talk a little bit about the pick'ems from last week. 49-7, Osceola beats Harrisburg. We had Piggott at Hoxie. Both of us picked Hoxie, and that came true, 54-28. Hoxie beats Piggott. We had Newport at Manila. We both picked Newport on that game. 44-7 was the score there, and Newport does beat Manila. And both of us, we kind of indecisive on this game here. And folks, I'm gonna tell you, after the ball game, we're looking at Corning's live feed. We're watching the live feed, trying to find out this ball game because Walnut Ridge was at Corning, and both of us picked Walnut Ridge last week simply because I just felt Walnut Ridge was the better team. But there for a while, Corning had the lead, Bobby.
28-0.
28-0. Corning had the lead, and I thought, boy, both of us finna fall here. But in the end, Walnut Ridge makes a comeback.
Mr. Walnut Ridge himself, Cole Manning, says, "Get out of my way and let me have this ball game," and he did that.
He did.
He took control.
He did, and Walnut Ridge comes back, beats Corning 34-28 in a good ball game at Corning last week. So, Bobby, let's look at this week's pick'ems. We have
bailed on Corning, by the way.
I did.
You rode Corning all year. Now you bailed on.
I did. I bailed on them on that one. I just go off feelings, folks, and I felt that Walnut Ridge was the better team there, and it ended up being that way. So I felt good. Osceola's at Piggott this Friday night. We won't call that, and just simply because we're going to call the ball game. Bobby, we got Corning traveling to Newport.
You gonna bail on them again?
I sure am. Not gonna lie about it.
I've got to take Newport.
Newport's a different animal.
I got to take Newport. I want to find a place. I got to make up some ground, but that's not the place.
You'll have an opportunity here in just a second
I know
to pick one or the other. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm sitting here right now on that pick in my head, flipping the coin. I'm telling
that's
you,
good.
that's how close it is.
That's what I need you to be. Is indecisive.
So Corning's at Newport. I'm gonna take Newport also, and we got Hoxie traveling to Manila.
Yeah, that's Hoxie.
Yeah,
I can't.
The Powell brothers are gonna be too much.
Yeah, that's too much.
They're gonna be too much. So I'm gonna take Hoxie also at Manila. So the one we're gonna be undecisive on, Bobby, is we got Harrisburg. Harrisburg's gonna travel to Walnut Ridge this Friday night, and you got both teams with the same conference record.
Yeah.
Harrisburg's coming off 2 losses in a row to Newport and Osceola. And you got Walnut Ridge, who comes off that win last week to Corning. And then the week before that, they got a win over at Piggott, 43-28. So they're coming off 2 wins, and Harrisburg's coming 2 losses. One of them's got to lose. Which one's it going to be?
Harrisburg's going to lose.
Harrisburg's going to lose.
Walnut Ridge, Cole Manning at home, too much.
Well, I agree.
I knew you'd do it.
I agree.
knew you'd do it. Why?
No,
okay.
I agree. I talked about this 2 weeks ago. When Cole Manning is playing, I can't bet against him unless they're playing, somebody that we know they're just outgunned.
Yeah.
But after watching both teams, I've seen Harrisburg, Walnut Ridge. We played both of them.
Mm-hmm.
The Osceola Walnut Ridge game. What was it? 7-6. What was
halftime was 7-6.
7-6 and a half, and that was all because they were using Cole Manning.
He got hurt.
In a way that Osceola was having a little trouble with. I mean, don't get me wrong. We shot ourselves in the foot 4 or 5 times. So I'm not saying that man was better than our football team.
We've talked about it all year. If you find a defensive weakness on the Seminoles, it's the interior of the defensive line and the counteraction out of the shotgun.
Right.
They run these teams are running pin or they're running pull techniques, and they're getting the flow going one way and countering back up into the middle of the line. And we've struggled with that all year, and we've talked about it, that a lot of that's youth and over pursuit, and we've talked about the linebackers getting too close to the line of scrimmage and getting caught up in the wash, and that's exactly what Walnut Ridge did. Now, I don't know if they did it because they saw something on film, because we've seen them do it all year.
Right.
That's their basic offense.
That's right.
And it was just a point in time where, with Cole Manning being as active as he is and as good of a runner as he is, and they use him so well. They bring him out and put him in the backfield. They'll split him out wide. They'll use him at quarterback. They disguise where he's at on the field so well. So, they found the Achilles heel, if you will, of Osceola's defense. And so I think that's where that close score came at half. But two things happened. One thing that happened in the second half with Walnut Ridge and Osceola is we saw Coach Teague start walking those linebackers down.
Exactly.
Start bringing them down and bringing them into the interior of the defense to help shore up that line. Same thing we did against Hoxie that was so successful. And that stopped a lot of that action.
Yeah.
Now, the other quarterback wasn't the runner that Cole Manning was. However, there was nowhere to run.
Exactly.
So I'm not sure I'm sure Cole Manning being in the ball game in the second half helps Walnut Ridge because he is a better runner. He is a load to bring down. We saw Osceola adjust and start to
and
counteract.
plus we corrected our mistakes.
We did.
We didn't shoot ourselves in the foot
That's true.
every down. We started making
very true.
our completions. The penalties slowed down, and then we
True.
just took over.
But Harrisburg's not Osceola.
No, and they're not. And I'm look, no disrespect to Harrisburg.
I agree.
I think they got a good football team, and they started off rocket hot. But I'm gonna tell you something. If Walnut Ridge has their way, they'll have no trouble.
And they're at home.
And they're at
It's
home.
going to be hard to beat them at home.
That's exactly right. So you're right. Both of us gonna go with Walnut Ridge on that one. As much as I would like to take Harrisburg, I just cannot. I just can't do it. I wanted to. I sat there in my head before I made that pick and flipped coins 2 or 3 times and just could not do it. So we'll both take Walnut Ridge there and be done with it. Folks, on the broadcast this Friday night, if you will just let us know where you're listening from. What we'll do, if you want to, we'll start. I think we're going to start doing some pick'ems with some fans. They're going to do some of that. We're going to try to incorporate that next week. And what we'll do is we'll try to get the fans involved with our pick'ems. A lot of them want to do that. And then as we get closer to the final 2 games, there'll be some games coming up that we'll want to look at, Bobby, with the schedule coming up. With I know that Prescott has got to play a big game here in the next week or so. There's a couple games that are going to be deciding in some other conferences that we're going to want to see because you're going to want to see the Camden Harmony Groves. You're going to want to see the Prescotts. You're going to want to see the Risings. You're going to want to see every bit of that because, we don't want to look ahead to nobody. This week we're going to be playing Piggott. Next week we're going to Corning, and then we're going to play Newport. And we'll figure out from there the way it's going to set up. But we want to make sure that we watch some of them teams because as it gets down to the nitty-gritty, that's who you're going to see.
And every one of those games, including this week, have equal importance because we want to be home.
That's exactly right.
We want to be home in the playoffs. We want to stay at home and get that home field advantage. So every one of those, you can't say we got to beat Newport. That's the game. No, we've got to start with Piggott. We've got to move to. We've got to do all of those things in steps.
So before we get out of here, Coach, what we do every week is we make sure we invite the fans to come to Piggott. Hey guys, you're talking about an hour, what, Bobby? About an hour and a half,
15, hour and a half,
hour and 15 minutes up in Clay County. It's a good little drive. Hey, a lot of people's heard about the Pumpkin Hollow that they have in Piggott. I know the schools go to it every year, and they've got things after hours there where you can do the haunted houses and stuff like that. So let's go to the ball game and cheer the Seminoles on. Let's all meet over at Pumpkin Hollow and we'll go through the haunted houses together. I tried to get the coach to bring the football team and we'll go through them, but I'm afraid that we might tear one of them haunted houses up with some of the players we got, because some of them don't like to be scared and things like that. So, but hey, let's come to Clay County this Friday night, folks. We've got to get on Coach Hooks' backside here and help him. We need this team to be able to feel the atmosphere. Yeah. Folks, when them kids are down there playing their hearts out, they want to hear the fans. They don't, because that's what they're playing for. They're playing for you. They're playing for the city of Osceola. They're playing for the Osceola School District. They're playing for all the fans. They're playing for everybody that's listening on the live feed, everybody that's listening on the radio. Come out. Don't just say, hey, I can sit at home and watch it on the live feed, because I'm going to tell you, I'm not trying to be funny. I hope we can get a signal up there. That's going to be the main thing is trying to get an internet signal.
That is.
So if we can't, you're going to be stuck. Don't make that decision. Get in the car and come over here and let's watch Seminole football from Piggott this Friday night. Bobby, before we go,
hey, yeah,
we got something we got to do.
We got to do something.
Do
you know what
yesterday was a special day?
It was
in somebody's lives. Coach, I put it out on Facebook last night. I told the Seminole Nation we need to wish Coach Robert Hooks a happy birthday. And boy, I can't believe how many people just commented on a happy birthday. So
happy birthday!
Yesterday was Coach Robert Hooks' birthday. Turned 21 again is what he told me. So I don't know how really old he is, but he told me he was 21 again. Coach, we got you a cake here.
It's purple.
Look at this right here. Now this is what I'm talking about right here. You got the purple cape. What do you think, Coach?
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You think that's gonna be good?
Oh, it's gonna be great.
You got any words of encouragement about getting older, and is it just another day, or
You know, just taking from my dad, advice from him. You know, you never want it to be too big. It's another day, but you know, you're grateful to be here.
did your players get to do anything special for you yesterday, or did you allow them to?
No, we just want.
Well, be careful today.
Keep a routine.
Be
I'd watch.
careful.
Don't go to the Mexican restaurant.
because I'm hearing some stuff. You know,
Don't get around me, Pueblo.
you might have to.
I'm just telling you. And on that note, and I don't know if your dad watches the show or not, but you know, we just want Blue to know we're thinking about
That's
him,
right.
and he's a solid good friend of mine, has been for years. We've played so much basketball together. I wish I had all that time back, I tell you. But just Blue, if you're watching, you're in my thoughts, man. And,
That's right.
And, we're here.
Just a little bit about that. He had a little medical issue
Yep.
that he had to get taken care of. But folks, he's fine. Everything has worked out good. That's the reason why we're taping the show a couple of days later and being on Thursday night instead of Tuesday night. We will be back on Tuesday night next week. But it's all because we just had to give Coach time to be with his family. Family's number one.
Yep.
No matter what, family is number one. Everything else is secondary. Coach, happy birthday. We're gonna dig into
Let's
this
eat some cake.
We're gonna dig into this cake here and get out of here. And folks, Friday night at Piggott, get in them cars. We're gonna meet you there. Seminoles and the Piggott Mohawks this Friday night from Piggott Mohawk Stadium. For Bobby Eflin, for head football coach Robert Hooks, for Jade Gonzalez behind the scenes. We'll see you this Friday night.